Right, hi guys, we're back to tonight's reading. We left Tsar on Friday. He'd been dragged off by the guards to the dungeons along with his snowcats and sprites, and now Queen Sycorax is going to turn her attention to Wish, her daughter. Chapter 14. Queen Sycorax is disappointed by her daughter again. Queen Sycorax watched Tsar being dragged away, bundled down into the darkness of her dungeons. What a rude boy, she sniffed disapprovingly. Is it too much to expect Encanzo, the great enchanter, to bring up his son with slightly better manners? She turned to her daughter. I do hope that if you are ever captured by an enemy, Wish, said Queen Sycorax, you will maintain your dignity and be civilly polite, particularly if they are threatening to kill you. It is hardly going to put them off. Wish was so confused that she didn't know what to think or feel. On the one hand, she was dreadfully frightened for Squeezes. On the other, of course, her brilliant, splendid, intelligent mother wouldn't ever do anything that was wrong. Would she? Surely her mother wasn't going to allow Squeezes to die. You're not going to let any harm come to Tsar's sprite, are you, Mother? Said Wish. You're going to take them to the stone in time so he can be cured, aren't you? That is none of your business, snapped Queen Sycorax. But it's not the sprite's fault that he got witch blood on him. You saw how frightened he was, poor little thing, protested Wish. Sprites and wizards are magic, and magic is bad. So it does not matter if the sprite was frightened, and you should not be concerned about their fate anyway, said Queen Sycorax waspishly. Why are you sympathising with the enemy, and how dare you question my decisions? I will do exactly what I think is right. Wish hopped guiltily and anxiously from one leg to the other. Queen Sycorax's eyes had narrowed with suspicion. Why was that stupid little Wish looking so conscience-stricken and so upset? Could she be hiding something? Was there more to her hopeless daughter than it seemed at first sight? The guards were saying that you captured this rude little wizard, Wish, said Queen Sycorax. You? Queen Sycorax always made an effort to speak reasonably kindly to her irritatingly useless daughter, but something about the way she said the word wish always suggested dissatisfaction, as if the word reminded the Queen that she wished Wish were a completely different person than she was, which indeed she did. For Wish was a great disappointment to Queen Sycorax. The Queen had hoped to have a daughter who was tall and golden like herself, not someone small and scruffy and weird, with hair that wouldn't lie flat, and an eye patch and a limp. So, Wish, did you fight this young wizard and his animal and his sprite retinue, and overcome him with your superior warrior skills? Asked Queen Sycorax sceptically. Wish, looking up adoringly into her mother's golden face, longed to be able to say that this is what had happened. How wonderful would it be to see Sycorax's expression change, so she looked back at Wish with admiration, with respect, with love. But her clever mother would never believe her, and it might make her so suspicious that she would investigate further, and then she might find the sword, and then all would be up for Tsar. Well, no, Mother, admitted Wish. I heard a noise, and I saw it was a wizard, and I was going to try and fight him, but then I fell over and shouted for help. The suspicion faded from Queen Sycorax's eyes, and she now looked merely displeased. That was entirely believable. I wouldn't call that capturing the wizard, would you? Snapped Queen Sycorax. You fell over and you shouted for help. Falling over is not considered to be one of the traditional warrior skills, Wish. Queen Sycorax looked at Wish's eye patch and her limpy leg as if she had lost the use of both of these body parts out of an act of willful disorganisation. Why you couldn't be more like your sisters? Wish bit her lip to stop herself from crying. Crying was another of those things that Queen Sycorax considered to be a weakness that warriors should not indulge in. You could choose to follow the example of your sister Drama, for instance, Sycorax continued. She has made a quilt out of the beards of dwarves she shot down from a remarkably long distance. I deplore the violence, of course I do, but those sort of teenage high spirits are, after all, the warrior way. When I was your age, I had already hunted down and killed my first giant, all on my own. But you have willfully and inexplicably decided to go in an entirely different direction. I'm not sure why you think it's a good idea to look so odd, so lopsided, so... The weight of Sycorax's disappointment was so depressing that Wish could feel herself drooping like her fingers were made of lead. Be merciful, thought Sycorax to herself, as Wish wilted miserably in front of her. I suppose the child can't help looking like a weird little twig that somebody accidentally trod on. I suppose she can't help lolloping about the place like an unbalanced bunny rabbit. A queen should be gracious as well as severely and incorruptibly just. A queen must be forgiving as well as unbendingly and unswervingly firm. Sycorax controlled herself with a strong effort. I suppose, said Queen Sycorax, gritting her teeth, you did your best, however inferior that best might be. How is your headache? Thinking of physical and mental weakness? My headache, said Wish blankly, before remembering hurriedly that she had told her mother she was going to bed early with a headache, so she could sneak out after the spoon. The headache's much better, Mother, thank you, said Wish. And how are you finding learning how to be a warrior? Asked her mother. It's quite difficult, Mother. Queen Sycorax sighed with exasperation. Madame Dreadlock says that your spelling is going particularly badly. Reading and writing is a sign of how superior and civilised us warriors are, you know, Wish. Yes, but the thing with the spelling is, the letters won't stay still, explained Wish. They keep wandering about in my head, and I forget what order they were in the first place. There are some people, Wish suggested bravely, who think that spelling might not be as important as the things you are trying to spell. Well, those people are mad, said Queen Sycorax. You'll just have to try a bit harder, won't you? Starting with your appearance. Wish was looking even more than usually bedraggled. Cloak on, inside out, and back to front. Ripped clothes, twigs all over the place, hair whipped up into frenzied knots from when Squeezeus had made a nest out of it earlier. Even a substandard warrior like you should always be well turned out, Wish, said Queen Sycorax, sweeping away. Every hair in place, every weapon sharpened, every fingernail shining. Remember that. And just as Queen Sycorax was sailing off, in a rustle of long, gracious white skirts, a certain knot that attached a little iron key to the belt she wore around her waist undid itself, like a small snake uncoiling, and the key dropped to the floor. It was a very tiny key, so as it dropped on the stone flagstones, it made a very tiny noise that the Queen did not hear. She disappeared around the corner, not knowing she had lost it. Ting! Wish, looking after her mother dejectedly, heard the noise. She picked up the key. She opened her mouth to say, Mother, you've dropped your key, and then she shut it again. The key was small and black and cold. The hair stood up on the back of Wish's neck as she realised it was the key, not only to every room in the warrior fort, but to her mother's dungeons. How strange that Queen Sycorax should lose it at that precise particular moment. Did it drop, or did it jump? If you were a fanciful person, you might have said that it was almost as if the key were looking for Wish and wanted her to use it. But we are not fanciful people, and that would be ridiculous. So I wonder what's going to happen in the next part of the story. We're going to see what Wish is going to do with the key. Speak to you tomorrow.